Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of The Hot Bite. I'm your host, Jonah Bennett, and today we are going to be tackling a topic of the utmost importance. I know most of our listeners are aware of this issue, but some of us are not. The topic today is the overpopulation of sharks in our area. We are going to go into how this population of sharks is having an impact on not only our environment, but our recreational and commercial fishing industry as well. In the past, sharks were not that much of a problem for us nor the environment. Sharks were and still are protected, helping ensure that their numbers stay healthy and ensure that shark fishermen don't overharvest. I think that we can all agree that this is a good thing, until recently. In the past years, the amount of sharks off of our coast has skyrocketed. We, and so many others, have had countless times of being taxed or sharked. This is becoming a serious problem. Today, we are bringing in two experts on this topic. First, Captain Skip Dana, captain of the multi-passenger fishing vessel, the Fish City Pride. He is in charge of daily charters and sees the impact of sharks on his passengers' fish daily. The second expert will be Captain Kurt Corbett, a local charter captain who sees the impact of sharks all over the east coast of Florida. And now, I would like to welcome Captain Skip Dana. Hello, Captain Skip. How are you doing today?
Good, Jonah. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, I think we should just hop right into it. I know you are aware of what seems to be an ever-increasing presence of sharks from Miami to Fort Pierce. What do you have to say about the amount of sharks and the effects of sharks based on your experience running the Fish City Pride and your tournament team, Surreal?
I would say that, over the past 5 years, there's definitely been a marked increase in shark activity, especially in the last 2 years. There's a lot of shark depredation where they eat a lot of our fish that we catch. It seems like it started in certain areas at different times. We've had a problem in Pompano at Hills Brentlet with our snapper fishing for about 10 years now. The sharks have been bad. And most of those were mostly Caribbean reef sharks and bull sharks.
Okay.
That over the last few years, we've seen a steady increase in the amount of sandbar sharks and an ever-increasing amount of bull sharks. And the sandbars and the bull sharks, they target mostly pelagic fish, kingfish, tunas, and the last few years they've been keying in on sailfish, especially up in from Palm Beach to the north end of Jupiter. There's definitely a shark problem, 100%.
I would agree with that. So, why is this happening? What caused all these sharks to start coming in here?
So I'm in a group of guys that we're trying to increase, we're trying to bring light to the current shark situation, and two, have them open up the commercial fishery on sharks again. About 10 to 12 years ago, they totally stopped all commercial shark fishing in the southeast and the Gulf of Mexico as well. Then we saw an increase every year in the amount of sharks, and now I think that sharks, when they multiply so fast that I don't know how we can fix the problem, but it started with a lack of commercial fishing because they had no real predators out there, and it's just spawn
Right.
for spawn for spawn, and now there's two guys up out of Palm Beach now, or actually out of Fort Pierce, that are commercial long lining for the sharks again. They're permitted and allowed to do it.
Okay.
And they put their lines out and they come in with a full haul almost every set.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's like he catches a full set and brings back a full boat, and he goes and does it again the next day, and 2 days later, and 2 days after that. It's like there's never-ending supply of sharks. I don't know how to explain it.
sharks just come and take the place of the sharks he just took out.
And it's crazy. Another problem that we have is the shark feeding. It started in Jupiter and expanded back down to Palm Beach. But sharks are getting trained; they're getting accustomed to hear a boat. They know there's going to be food there, so they hear the motors. They come. Now you don't have to put chum in the water up there in Jupiter. Now you stop the boat, and within minutes there's sharks under and around the boat. And divers tell me that they'll dive, and they're stacked everywhere on the bottom. They're like cordwood. They said they're just stacks and stacks of bull sharks. And, people that have dove that area for 30, 40 years have never seen anything like it.
Wow, that just shows how much of an effect this diving is having on these sharks, right? It's completely changing their way of life.
Yeah, it's changing their migration patterns. It's changing their spawning patterns. There's sharks that stay there. They have names where those sharks should migrate north and south.
Okay.
Sharks stay there all year long because they're getting fed.
Oh, that is really crazy. Well, we're going to have to get going here, but before we go, can you say the name of that organization you were with that was trying to stop the sharks? Was that the Tax the Taxman movement?
It started with Tax the Taxman, but now it's Sportsmen Fighting for Marine Balance.
All right, so again, that is Sportsmen Fighting for Marine Balance, so if you guys are interested in that, I would definitely go ahead and check that out. Thank you, Captain Skip, for coming on with us today. That was really informative, and we'll hope to talk soon.
My pleasure, buddy.
Wow. That was a really eye-opening talk with Captain Skip. Sharks are really becoming a problem. As he said, some of them are almost trained to come to the boat when the engines turn off because they know that there will be food there. Next up, we have a special in-house visit by Captain Kurt Corbett. Welcome to the show, Captain Kurt. How's it going today?
It's great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So let's cut to the chase here. What do you have to say about the effect of sharks on the charter business industry?
We definitely noticed an increase in shark population targeting our fish that we catch. It's been almost like you see the more aggressive types of shark, almost like a wolf pack mentality coming around the boats when we pull up on spots and hook up the nice fish.
Yeah. So
it's tough.
So how often does this happen? Like, does this happen every charter? Does it happen every 2 charters?
I would say as a whole, you're probably losing 25% of your fish to sharks.
Really?
Especially this year. I mean, we had such a great tuna season in the spring. It was really, really nice it was really hard to land a nice tuna over 25 pounds.
So why would you say this is happening?
I don't know. I mean, you notice the sharks come in waves, right? But lately I've noticed more and more aggressive types of sharks, teamed up, and they come around the boat when we pull up on spots. I think it's happening across the area from Miami to Palm Beach, but I definitely think it's a little noticeable the further north that we fish.
So, like, north is in Jupiter, Fort Pierce?
Yeah, like Palm Beach area, Jupiter, like those areas.
And it's not just one shark, it's multiple sharks.
They're in like a wolf pack mentality. I got a cool picture on my phone when we were tuna fishing this year off of Boynton or Boca, and it was 2 sandbars side by side zipping around the boat. I'll say this much. It's frustrating because the fish are under so much pressure, and we got to scale down our tackle and scale down our hooks and scale down our leaders. And it's hard to put a lot of heat on bigger fish and land them without them breaking us off or pulling hooks to try to beat the sharks in. It's really hard balance.
So you're competing with the fish that you're trying to catch, but you also want to get them to the boat fast enough where the sharks don't get them.
Right, and
this is a fine line.
It's a very fine line because you're sometimes you're taking people who have never been fishing before in their lives, except for like maybe a lake or something. Now they're offshore. We're battling a 25, 30-pound tuna, and they don't have the same finesse as we do fishing all the time. So it's delicate balance because we want them to land that fish whole and not get sharked, because that leads to a frustrating experience for most anglers.
Yeah, we all see how frustrating that can be.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you for your time. That was awesome. I hope that we can talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was a lot of great information shared by Captain Kurt. Having 25% of your fish be taxed by sharks is a huge problem. I hope this podcast motivates you to do a little research into the topic yourself. I would recommend checking out Sportsmen Fighting for Marine Balance. It's a great movement that keeps track of the impact sharks have on fishermen. Once again, I would like to thank Captain Skip Dana and Captain Kurt Corbett. They were a lot of fun to work with and extremely informative. Thank you all for listening, and we hope to catch you next week.